ask yourself this question: when will you become an economy creator? Because we are all capable of becoming that.
Welcome to the Economy Creators Podcast and Radio Show on KFRED Work Life Balance Radio. I'm your host, Mary Farias. This is where we spotlight real stories of entrepreneurs and creators building their U-shaped economy around their unique interests, talents, and experiences. This podcast is part of a larger space called Economy Creators. I'm editing and publishing the Economy Creators Anthology, where I highlight and share the stories of 11 entrepreneurs and creators. Each one is in different phases of their entrepreneurial journey, and each has an incredible story to tell. You'll get to meet and learn more about each of these economy creators on this show, plus learn some tips from those who are making it happen. If you would like to be on the show, want to learn more about the anthology or any of the co-authors, or simply have a question about being an economy creator, just reach out to me. I'm here to help you in any way that I can. And if you're an economy creator, I invite you to reach out and apply to be a guest. I love meeting and spotlighting economy creators. Welcome, everybody, to the Economy Creators Podcast. I am here with Rebecca Olsen. She and I have come to meet one another over the years, a couple of years in networking events. And Rebecca, I love the fact that you focus on couples and families and really creating an economy around a different way of viewing how your life needs to be so you can seek that fulfillment that we're all looking for. So, why don't we just start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself and the personal economy that you're creating.
Thank you so much, Mary. I have been excited to come here and talk with you. And I think, and because I'm just excited about your title, like your work title, like economy creators. I think in some way that's what I'm doing as well. So I resonate a lot with that expression. And who am I? I'm Rebecca, and I am based in Denmark. And yeah, I live on a farm with my family. I have a husband and 3 kids, and I am building my life around my family. And I help other people do the same. And that's basically also the economy I'm creating today. I'm helping people become, yeah, I call it become CEO of their own life. Take ownership of your life and deepen your relations, your family, elevate your health. I think abundance and health, they go together. And in the end, design a life on your terms.
That is beautiful because we're here to live, we're here to create, we're here to enjoy what we have around us. And I love the idea that abundance and health and all of that tie together. And I believe the same thing. So, Rebecca, this isn't the way that you always lived. So, where did you come from? How did you start? And what was that pull that got you to start seeing life in a different way?
Yes. I came from a completely different place. I grew up in what do you call that? Academia surroundings, like everybody. That was what you do. You go to school. You take a good education. You take a good job, and you're basically secured for life. And that's good. I mean, that's good. That can be a way. Where I grew up, that was kind of the only way that was introduced. I did not know of any other way. Um, and I'm well on my way into that journey. When I have a sudden experience, when I'm 28, I lose my mom suddenly. Um, um, and that is and that way that's a shock, of course. I'm 28, so I'm not like a kid, but still I'm young to lose my mom. I was not expecting that, and I was not at all prepared for that. And what happens after is I am, of course, in grief and all those things, but I'm also, time stops. In that moment, just time just stops, and everything you were in the middle of becomes unimportant. And and suddenly I had to ask myself every question again, because what I realized with her was like her life was over. And when I looked at her, I think she had more in her. She was not ready to die, to be honest. She had her dreams in her still. And I realized life has an end. So how are we using this time when we are actually alive? And that became more important. That became a more important question than like, what is my next career move? Like, what am I actually here to live? And that changed my path.
Yeah. Yeah, and so many times in these conversations with economy creators, something like that is the catalyst, for people to start reexamining and asking questions, going deeper into those questions and finding those answers. So what type of career were you on the trajectory to expanding? And share the moment when you looked at your child and said, "Oh my gosh,
Yes,
I've missed a lot."
yeah. I have like three points in my time where I'm waking up. Because actually even before I lose my mom, I was seeking the career I was pursuing the career of social work, and I was doing that, and I had a full-time job, and yeah, that was all good. And then I was coaching young people, and I was helping them like find their dreams and finding their goals, and I was very good at that. And then after doing that a year or something, I was like, "Wow, am I asking myself these questions?" And I wasn't. Um, so that happens actually before this thing with my mom. I actually quit my job, and I started an acting career, and I am actually already starting personal development at that point. But then I lose my mom, and then that like puts some seriousness into life as well. Um, Also this aspect of health, like there are more to a good life, and I start to yeah, create my own economy, and like start to build a life for myself. And then I'm actually good on the journey of that, and in all that. And there are many steps, but I meet my husband, and we start doing things together. But then I actually fall back. I get my child, number one, and she's so extroverted. So after 7 months, I'm kind of sending her off to daycare just because she's so much want to meet other people. So I'm like, okay, she's away. I'm home. What am I doing here? And I actually start working again. I go back to social work, which was like not in the cards, but that happened. And then I do that for 10 months or something, and I'm good actually. It's a good place. My boss is cool, and things are actually quite good. And then I pick my daughter up. She's from daycare. It's Christmas holiday. Pick her up, and she's just. I think she's grown so much. Like it. She just grew so much. That year I was working, she was away. Happened like this, and I was not part of it. And that was like a little whisper of, wow, I already knew this. Life is about living, but it happened again. Wow. And that was like my second wake up call. And since then, I have been like determined. Then I decided I want to be with my children. I wanted to create a life where that was possible, and I wanted to do it now. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think too what you just described, because you said going back to work wasn't in the cards, but it is what happened. And I think that, as a Proctor Gallagher consultant and with Bob Proctor and understanding conditioning and paradigms, those those paradigms run strong. And so it seemed probably to you like, oh, well, this is just logical because this is how you grew up, right? And so when even when we make a conscious decision to, like you did, to live life to its fullest, those conditioning ways of thinking and being take over sometimes if we don't manage them, and if we don't on purpose, like you just said, focus 100% on the other way that we really truly want to live, right? Is that what you found?
definitely. Yeah, because that's weird. I went back. What was that about? But that was meant to be. But after that, I really felt, wow, there must there must be another way, and I also knew there was another way. So it was actually just a matter of deciding to take that way. And but what you say is that sometimes it don't seem so easy because it's so easy to just do what you always learned. But on the other hand, when you look at your little 1.5 year old and you realize, I mean, I saw so many pictures from the daycare. It looked like she had an adventure down there, like, but I saw the pictures, and every time I picked her up, she was just tired and went to bed. I'm like, wow, I'm missing out. They like kids are small when they're like from 0 to 7. That's every development is there. How can I miss that? And suddenly that became just so important to me, and I didn't plan for that. I mean, again, I grew up in academic academia or surroundings. I was determined to have a career and have a husband to look after my kids. That was my plan. But sometimes what happens in life is I became a mom and I felt something different. I felt, no, this is important to me. This is the most important thing in the world to me. That's not for everybody, but that happened to me, and I had to listen to that voice.
Yeah, yeah, listening to that inner voice. My daughter asked me one time, she's 15, she asked me, she goes, "Mom, what's the meaning of life?" And I said, "To listen to our inner voice and do what it says." You know,
That's
and you're right, that inner voice is different for everybody. We all have something different to live, and it's up to us to honor that, I think. So let me ask you this. We talked about the paradigms and the conditioning that you kind of moved away from, where it's academic and have the career and have the husband to look after your kids. That's not always what women believe and think. And so that's something that you had on your agenda. But how did let me ask you this. Was it easy to make that shift? Was it easy to always believe that this is what's happening. This is what we can live. We can do this new life. Was it scary?
okay. Honest answer. In the beginning, just after I lost my mom, I just knew I had to change, and that was scary as hell. Like, that was not easy. I had no idea how to do it, and I had no idea how to, like, step out on my own path because I was so conditioned to, like, go with the flock, like, we all do the same, and that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what's safe, and if you go another way, like, you're doomed. I really had some strong belief systems about, yeah, doing that. It was so scary. But you know, my mom, she really did that. The last days up till she passed away, we thought she had a flu. Um, Turned out to be something more severe, but we thought she had a flu, and um, yeah, conditioned as she was as well. She turned up every day anyway because she felt so obligated to her job and she wanted to be good to the job. And and that for me is also scary, like, how do we end there? How do we end there that we don't even listen when we are so apparently she was very ill at that time. We didn't know, and of course she didn't know either, but she was not either used to listening to her inner voice. That's I don't think so. And so that is also scary, and actually in the beginning, that was really my light. I, like, held my mother's story, I really held my mom in my hard, and I walked with courage, because dying like my mom would be more scary. Like living, yeah, that gave me courage.
That's
And on the
beautiful.
way, it became easier. But in the beginning, I needed her every day.
Yeah. And she's with you every day. I love that. That's beautiful. So wonderful. And so, yeah, that going back to that inner voice and that inner wisdom that we have, and how have you learned to tap into it? How have you learned to listen to it and follow it?
In the beginning, actually, I couldn't hear it. And I think that's so scary as well. And I meet so many people in my work today who are in the same situation. In the beginning, I was asking myself, okay, what are my dreams? I just couldn't feel it. I was so far away from my inner voice. So I couldn't even tap into it. So actually in the beginning, I couldn't see, I was in the darkness. I was in a forest. I couldn't see the way out. I just started to walk and I just started to like thinking, okay, there must be something better. There must be another way of thinking, being, living, another way of feeling inside. I didn't feel happy. So I just started to walk and I started to listen to uh, different speakers, inspirational talk. I'd never heard something like that before, but I start to listen to people who told about you can change your life, you can change how do you think, and all these things and all these ideas. I didn't know of that, so I just started to listening, and I felt better every time I heard something. I was like, okay, I just keep on doing this, and I did that for a long time actually before I could start to connect again.
Yeah. So you said something interesting. You said it feels better. And so you continue to do it. And so have you found that, well, as Neville Goddard says, feeling is the secret. Have you found that as you turn to things that make you feel better, that you're walking the right path?
Yeah, yes, mm, there are some teachers who say that, and I listen to some of those teachers. Like, go for the easier feeling thought. Like, mm, this is interesting. I actually had to go, I actually had to go to a coach to get through this because I was actually taught again. I think battle is good. Like when we battle, we are getting stronger or something like that. So actually to go with the path of least resistance or go with ease, for me that felt weird.
Mhm.
Felt like, what is this? I was used to like not sleeping at night, having education, jobs, things to I was always on the run in my youth. So actually to just do what feels good, that for me was new and weird in the beginning. And 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 I actually had to practice to just, okay, could I just do a little thing for myself today that feels good? What could it be? Just go out and watch the sun just because I want to. And in the beginning it was hard. But then I started practicing and
Yeah. Well,
I like
when we're high achievers like that, I think that we think we need to do more and we have to stay busy and we have to be that stress is an indicator that we're effective or doing something or this is the way life is supposed to be. But what you're describing is that we need to listen to what feels better, what slows us down, what allows us to enjoy our lives. And um, is stress a huge part of your life anymore?
it's still a little part of my life, but in a completely other way. But I think I have been used to being so stressed. Um, so I actually still feel that this can be my point of awareness still, because I still have it in me that this driver to go. But I know now that actually, if I go to do too much, I forget the being part, and I've come to learn that this is where it all begins. I think all this doing that is a second layer. There's something beneath that, and I was not aware before, but now I am. So um, today I always start with being and go from there, and that means that stress is a very different thing for me now. It's not so much I would say I maybe am very sensitive to it. So when it comes up a little bit, I'm, oh, what is this now? I'm not that I mean, it can be okay to be a little bit stressed sometimes. Like again, what is stress? Sometimes you're also like on the move on something that's good. But I'm really become aware that the breaks are where we grow, where we create, where we expand. We need to go here. Oh, I need to go always back to being.
Neil Donald Walsh says we are human beings, not human doings.
Yeah, it was just in my mind as well. But that was so true.
It is so true. It is so true. And have you found that, well, your life feels better, obviously, but have you found that the career is just as fulfilling as when you were seeking a career advancement in the traditional sense versus now?
I think it's a lot more fulfilling now. I think, this is something I also struggle with, but that's a good perspective. Like sometimes we can have an idea of how we want things to look like, but that is actually the least outcome we can get. Like if we can open up and actually allow that other things comes into our space, like ideas we didn't even get yet, or like good surprises, um, then life can become so much better. Um, and that's new for me. I used to like plan my years. Like I had a 4-year plan, like scheduled ahead of me always. I don't have that anymore. Like I can be open even to the next day. What will happen tomorrow? I don't know. And that is a completely shift of how I live. But I really learned that when we are open, yeah, so many things can happen that is a lot better than what we even planned for.
Yeah. So what do you how do you describe being open? Because I think a lot of people are wondering, at least people I speak to, where this is kind of a new idea of being open to different opportunities or being or allowing other opportunities or other things. What does it mean to you to be open or allowing?
I think you need to start just a step behind because for me, even the idea in the beginning of just being able to describe what do I actually want. And that took me some time. And I realized I have spent so many years actually more being avoiding things I didn't want it. Like just preparing, being safe, having plan A, B, and C to make sure everything was safe. Um, and from that perspective, I later learned you can't create a lot. You actually like you are holding things back, but because you are in fear, you're basically in fear all the time, trying just to avoid bad things to happen. So actually, to make this shift of starting to open up to what do I actually want, this is this is the beginning of starting to receive something, but it can be scary to I felt it myself and I know it from other people as well. It can actually be scary to say out loud what you want, even when you feel it. Then saying it out loud can be vulnerable. It can be painful because there's actually something we want, but we don't have it. So we also become sad that we don't have that. Or maybe yeah, we're afraid to say it because now we say it, but what if we can't do it? So there's a lot of feelings in this, but when you become comfortable in saying out loud what you want and exploring that, be curious, like what okay, what else? Like, okay, is there more or why would I want that? What would it give me? And you move in that space. We already open. And then that can maybe for people who are already used to this, then there can maybe be a next layer of again, okay, I want this, at least to my best of ability. I set this goal, I will have this dream or whatever. And then the art is as I see it to describe it and then let go of exactly how, when and in what way this will turn up. And there is this picture of if you, for example, go to a restaurant and you ask for something on the menu. You ask for something on the menu and then you sit and wait in delight. You don't go out and go after the waiter and go into the kitchen and say, I want you to do it this and this and this. And then and you don't interfere with all that. You just give the order and sit back and receive the meal. And it's a little bit the same.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's a really great, analogy because we don't you know what? We don't micromanage the cook. Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. We don't go in there and tell them exactly how to do it, otherwise we'd be doing it at home and doing it for ourselves, and so, what you're saying is that there's a higher power that's allowing us to receive, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. We were talking about it just before you press record, but for example, um, when I just started to say out loud, okay, I actually have some dreams. I actually, for example, I wanted to meet love. That was a thing for me that was scary, but I actually managed to say, okay, this is what I want. And what is magical is like I think maybe a week or 10 days after I met my husband. That's insane. Again, that's like, okay, whoa. But then another thing, he lived on this miraculous place, and we just talked about it before. I could never have like planned that. Um, I even maybe I even did not know I wanted to live like this, where how I live today. But actually, I did because when I was a kid, I wrote something down that is very similar to where we live today. But suddenly, I find myself living on a beautiful farm with horses and all these kind of things. And I remember when I moved in, I was like, wow, this space is incredible. There's so high to the ceiling. I mean, there's space for so many of our dreams. Still, I mean, we will not hit the ceiling just now. There's so much space here. And I felt, wow, this is really a place where we can allow ourselves to receive. And I did not plan for any of that. But apparently, I was open. And I
Yes.
was.
Yes, and what you described earlier as essentially playing not to lose versus opening ourselves up to possibility, I think that that is a perfect way of describing being open and being aware and being, allowing of things, because you're right, when we plan because we are avoiding something, what are we thinking about? We're focused on what we want to avoid rather than the possibility, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and we're actually creating more of that what we want to avoid. That's the problem. We are looking at the problem all the time saying, "Oh, great, please don't bring me this problem." And that's the only thing we focus on. That's the only thing that is in our vibration. That's the only thing that can come to us from that place.
What we focus on grows, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Ah, that's so beautiful. So you mentioned your husband, you mentioned that you have a business around your family and that it's family first. So why don't you describe a little bit about what you do?
Yes. Um, so what I learned from myself, I was sitting in my day job, working full time, and the main problem was that with that was the working full time part because I wanted to be at home more. And I think, yeah, one of the things I learned that I didn't know before, now we're back to the economy creator part because how do we actually create an economy? And for me, the only way I knew was to get a job. And basically, and that's fine. And but but it's actually not where the money lies. I learned that the money lies more in having and what's that called in English? Having a business. A business is called a business. Having a business or investing. So that was a an aha moment for me because yeah, I always learned that the safest thing in the world I could do was to have a job, and I will question that today a lot. Um, so yeah, basically, I think what we can do. Yeah, the problem with a job. Now I will say it out loud. Actually, in a job, you're working for somebody else. You're creating somebody else's dream, and you're actually not paid what you're worth. Because if you were paid what you're worth, the business would not be going. So if you have a job, it can be fine. I have had jobs as well, but just be aware that you're not paid what you're worth. And the business, I mean the company you're hired into, they know that because otherwise they couldn't make it work. So having this shift of learning that you can actually work for yourself And then, of course, we need to be aware because you can also be a self-employed person, but still like work very busy schedule, still work long hours, and you're the only one to take care of everything, and that's not freedom either. So we need to find a way where we can set some of our time free. We need to build business that will run without us, that will, or like we can maybe start it, but then it will go on without us being there all the time. So that's one thing. And then we need maybe also to think about the earnings that we do make in our business. What do we do with them? Do we go out and buy a new car or lovely dresses or whatever? Or are we a little bit smart with our money? And I also learned some principles about always pay yourself first. So when you earn something, yeah, pay yourself first. But because what happens is what we have in our bank accounts, that's normally what we spend. So if we pay ourselves first, put some money aside that we can maybe invest to something that will grow into like we make our money work for us. That will start building wealth. That will start building not only income but wealth. And then we have the rest left to pay our things, and we will find often that that's enough. So basically, today I'm building a business that is not dependent on me being there all the time, and I am also investing quite a lot um, because I want to have a freedom, an economy freedom that is not dependent on me working. I want to have a freedom that is also there, like after me, and maybe even in generations. So that's my focus today, and that is what I help people do as well.
That's wonderful. And every time I speak, you talk about your interest in working with couples, right?
Yeah.
And so what is it that you and your husband do together? You mentioned earlier about speaking your dreams out loud and having would imagine having that support system built in is very helpful in managing and bringing together your dreams. So talk about working with your husband.
Yeah, actually, now that we're talking about it, when we were on our first date, let me say, so like he asked me, I think, like, what was my dreams? And I remember I thought, wow, this is scary that you ask me that, but I also like that you ask me that. So we actually had that conversation first day. Um, and I think that was very powerful. That was part of why I thought, okay, he's a keeper. Um, and what we do now, uh, so first thing we started doing the personal development together because I was on a path, but he was also on the path. So we started doing it together. So that was just, then I just found out this is magical. This is magical to do this together because we actually move quite a lot. And so it's important that our partner moves as well. And I think, yeah, for me, again, to become my own boss, that was a shift for me. And I had to learn so many new things to become this person that could be my own boss. But that is also a wonderful journey. And he stepped into that journey as well. So I think that being on this journey together, that's just huge. And that's something about, the people we are closest to, the 5 people we surround ourselves with, that's the people we become. So it's quite important that your partner is one of those people that uplift you, one of those people you actually truly want to be around. Um, and that's again not for everybody. When we have COVID, there is some people who are really struggling because they had to be home together and working in the same house. We were not struggling at all. We were like, "Oh, this is amazing." We just closed the fence and we're having a blast. And I think um, both is okay. Again, both is perfectly okay. And we have a couple friends that are in both categories. But what I see is the people we are working with and with people who are attracted to us and our business. That is people who are thinking a little bit like us, who actually wants to build a life together, who has some dreams that they want to do together, and who actually enjoy as well, maybe working together.
Yeah, I think that that's so great. I had a business with my husband. We owned the gymnastics center together, and so many people told us not to do it, not to work together. But we didn't listen and we did great. So, but you're right. There's this it's a built-in mastermind is what it is because you're both on the same trajectory towards the same end, towards the same goal. And it turns into something very beautiful when you're on the same path. And look at what your kids see.
Exactly. And uh, yeah, that's another thing. But and again, I grew actually up with uh, parents who were not working together, but they were not always either on the same path, like saying the same things, and that's okay. But again, that can also be very confusing for the kids. So I actually think it's quite important to have. Yeah, my husband and I are very also in raising the kids. We are very like we talk about how do we want to raise them? What is our values? What do we actually want to bring to our family? And we agree on that before we like go out and say anything. And if we are having a disagreement or just saying something different, we go back and say, "Oh, what was that? We need to align on this because otherwise we are not sending the same signal." And I think that's important. And and when we even work together. That's just cool. We are quite aware as well of including our kids in our vision, and we have our vision, and we have some things we want to do. But we're also asking them, what is important for you? What's your dreams? And now they're still so small, so we're taking the lead definitely. But they are growing all the time. So it's also quite fun to include them in the vision and put them on the same team and say, okay, let's do this together. How can we make it work?
Yeah.
And that's part of what I love.
Yeah. I love put them on the same team. I think that's so good. That's so good. What are you currently working on that you are excited about?
Yes. I was thinking about that question because I'm working on some things here and now, but I think what I'm working on is actually a quite big vision for the future. And there are two legs in that vision for me at this moment. And one vision is exactly about the kids. Um, it's quite important for me to become that person that they can look to and see, okay, things are possible. My dreams are possible. Mom and dad are actually going out and creating their dreams. No dreams are too big. Whatever I feel is my calling, there's space for that. And mom and dad are supporting me in that. And I see the future. I see my kids becoming grown-ups. And I hope that that day they will know that they're capable and they will know that they can create an impact in the world, and they will know that if they have problems, maybe mom and dad can help. And if mom and dad can't help, maybe they have some friends that will be able to help them. So that's one part of my vision, and that's guiding me a lot because it also demands of me to keep growing, not to achieve, but to become that person that I am. And then I have another dream and another like vision that is also very important to me. And you know about it a little bit because I went to Latin America in the beginning of this year. And I think I am educated as social worker. I think I've always had a dream of helping people who maybe not had the same opportunities that I have. I'm from Denmark. I'm from a rich city in Denmark. I always had quite an easy life in that sense. And not everybody has that. And to be and yeah, I see so many brilliant people who have so many talents, but maybe the structure around them, the society is not so easy to work with as, for example, Denmark. So being able to give opportunities to get better health, get better economy, not only in Denmark, where people need it as well. Like, for example, moms in Denmark, they do need it, but it's more for that's another reason. That's because they are told to take the job and they don't know that they're allowed to do something else. That's more the work here in Denmark. In Latin America, it's more real. I mean, they need the possibilities. They need um, maybe another way out, and I can provide that, and I can help them with that, and I have some beautiful contacts there who are so brilliant people. They just need something good to work with because they don't have that. So I just see this society rise, and I will be part of that. And that's not about. I mean, I hope to start that and make it so self efficient, so empowering that they don't need me because Latin America is definitely a society where neighbors help neighbors. Like they don't need me. They can do it themselves, but they maybe need an opportunity to become their own boss and also start dreaming again. I think that's universal, that we can have that for different reasons. We can have some limiting beliefs around what is possible, and to plant that seed and to see it grow. That is my vision and what I'm working on at the moment and for a long time.
Ah, that's so good. That's so good. People need you. People need you. I love it. I think that's wonderful. So where can people meet you, find you, connect with you?
Yes. On your favorite social media platform, I would say find me there. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and every places there you can find my WhatsApp as well. So contact me there. But one that is easy to say here would be my Instagram, because that's Rebecca_B_Olsen. So find me there, and from there you can connect to the other platforms.
Wonderful. Do you have any closing thoughts for the audience, Rebecca?
Yeah, ask yourself this question: when will you become an economy creator? Because we are all capable of becoming that. And I found my way, Mary found her way, and I know what you're teaching, Mary, is also like find your unique talents and bring them into your, like, create from there and create your economy around that. I can only encourage that. So yeah, when will be your moment to start creating your economy and your freedom and your life?
Wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. It was so wonderful to have this conversation with you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. Are you an economy creator? Join me for my free Economy Creators Workshop the first week of every month. And if you're interested in being on the Economy Creators podcast and radio show here on KFred Lifestyle Optimization Radio, please reach out and apply. I can't wait to meet you.